to the Pelicans Post Game Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Perfect. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Yeah, ain't gon' lie, I feel flyer than I ever been. We stay ballin', this New Orleans, I'm a Pelican. It's going down in the nest, wild, wild west. Come in town and you best, show us some respect. 3-point threat, I better make it rain. If it's something, don't jump stupid like your ankle sprain. Always said, never hate the player, hate the game. Jumper where the dame late, punch a train. Post game, big Q, talking about business. Bird gang, YouTube, they ain't flocking with us. Lock up the division mission, get into the finals. Finish competition, then it's going win the title. I know this flyer than you can get. Such a threat that the ref just might call a tag. You could double, you could press, but you can't check. Right, left, slide by you like a Eurostep. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever, Pelican forever. And never, and never, and never, and never, and never, and never say birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, fly down, I'm a Pelican forever, Pelican forever.
I think we struggled with their physicality. I thought ours was pretty good, though, on the other end. I mean, we turned them over 20 times. They turned us over 19, So I thought both teams defensively, I saw physicality. We just didn't handle it, very well offensively. So just got to go through it, They had their hands all over Murph and Fears and Queen, and, that's what they do to every team, though. You just got to go through it and figure it out. So, we'll get better from this, but they do it, as well as anybody. And we're trying to replicate it ourselves. We're trying to look this way over time. So I thought our guys in general battled defensively tonight.
Now, what did you think just the job Micah did? Career highs in points and rebounds. We know what he brings on the defensive end, but what was it like seeing
He was a player out there. He looked like he belonged in that fist fight. He didn't back down, made shots, made the right play, simple plays, competed defensively. I thought he was fantastic.
Zion wasn't able to finish, but what do you think about just the effort to try to go deal with the illness?
It's great. Like he battled through, illness and gave us his best shot. Obviously he couldn't go in the second half, but he's trying to give us everything he has every day, and he continues to battle.
And there were some possessions, especially in the second half, where you just getting late in the shot clock and not getting good shots. What you count?
Their hands, their physicality, their defense. If you watch them, consistently throughout the year, they do this to a number of teams. We had the ball in our guys' hands. We were trying to get it to the right people, and they just overwhelmed us at times. And I thought we did that to them at times as well. We had some shot clock violations going the other way ourselves. I think we were battling, we were contesting. Offensively, we had a hard time, unless we were in transition. We got out in transition. We had some good looks, but in the half court, they put their hands all over us. That's a grown team. That's a grown team of men that, were extremely physical and aggressive, and we got to continue to try to help them. That's my job. We got to do that.
Earlier in the season, the third quarter was an issue. Now that's mostly been rectified tonight, but the issue seems to have transferred to the first. You guys are getting off the slow starts. Teams are pulling away like 10, 12 points, and then you will eventually make the gap up later on. But what do you make of the
It's tough to play from behind every night. 13-0 tonight, 12-2 other nights. Like, at some point, that group's got to make a stand, or, I got to pivot, and that's what I got to look at and see how to rectify that and correct that. But you don't want to start that way. It's deflating for your team. There's a responsibility in how you start the game on both ends. So it's something I'll continue to look at.
Do you believe in the concept of a rookie ball? And how do you feel like, at this point, Fears and Queen are 2 and 3 in minutes played on your team. Probably the most amount of basketball they've played, compressed time, most intense basketball they've played. Just how do you feel like they've kind of holding up to the rigors of the NBA season?
It's a challenge for any rookie, and especially rookies that are starting. I believe right now we play the second most amount of rookie minutes in the NBA. They played a lot of minutes. They've had usage at a point guard spot, at the 5 spot. It's a tremendous amount on them, and I think they've handled themselves great. You know, it's a learning curve on their mental side, on the body, on the travel, learning the NBA, the tendencies. It can be overwhelming at times, but what I'll give them credit for is they keep showing up, they keep wanting to learn, they want to grow, they want to get better. Is there a rookie wall for everybody? I think in general, I think any young guy goes through these moments, you know, where it's tough, you know, but these are both resilient kids. They're tough, they're physical, they work, they care, and we just got to continue to lean into that. You know, we got to fight through that, through the fatigue. I think they probably played over a college season already, and they have another college season ahead of them. Doesn't get any easier, you know. But it's a mental grind right now more than anything. They got to just stay with it. We're here to support them, love them, push them, coach them. But this is the NBA, you know, and nobody's feeling sorry for you. You just got to keep plugging along. But I think they're doing fantastic.
JB, going back to that physicality for a second, the Pistons lead the league, I think, in giving up the most free throw attempts per game. Is that a trade-off you'd be willing to learn or live with? Is that kind of the style you would prefer, being more physical but giving up?
I'll take that. I'll take that. I fit more in line with that. More than anything, to build the identity first. I think as you build the identity, I don't know where they're at. I think to your point, they do rank pretty high in that, and they're willing to live with it. I think you almost teach the league your identity as you go, and you tend to get away with some stuff as you go. I mean, this is like the old Utah Jazz. They're not going to call every foul, you know. I don't think the NBA wants to have every possession with a foul in it. So let's push the let's push the limits there a bit. So yes, we want to foul more. We want to be more aggressive. We want to put our hands on them. I saw it tonight. I think tonight was an example of that. I think we reflected, the principles we're looking for defensively tonight against a very good team, offensively and defensively.
What can you say about Kevon Looney? He doesn't get a ton of minutes, but he always seems ready to play whenever he has 4 and 7 and 10 minutes tonight.
Amazing pro. I mean, we're fortunate to have Looney on this roster. So to be able to call on him at any time, obviously, I'm sure he wishes he was out there consistently, you know, every single night, and he could be. But he handles himself as a pro. He's always ready to go. He works on his body, works on his craft, cares about this team, coaches them. I couldn't be more thrilled to have him on this roster. Good. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
All right. Shout out to the fan for all things Pelicans. You're now tuned into the Pelican Post Game Report. Much love to the fan. Appreciate y'all for being in this episode of PPR. Y'all feel free to hit the like button in the recap stream, man. And then, what happened tonight is I didn't think they were winning. I kind of knew that the Pelicans wasn't going to win this game. They were actually it's a lot, man. Just to watch the Pelicans, you see the effort. At points in the game, there was some effort. There was some effort. I got to give them that. But it's very interesting listening to Coach Borrego's press conference in his description about the Detroit Pistons and how he considered them, and he mentioned his words were grown men. Those are grown men out there, and what you got? If the Detroit Pistons is grown men, then what kind of players you got, Coach? I thought these were grown men too. It's just interesting, man, because, we watch this team night after night, and we need a complete effort. We don't need 2 quarters or 3 quarters. We need a complete and total effort. It's a few things to talk about why the Pelicans lost the game. I mean, it's a few things, but just the mental breakdowns at parts. The defense is not totally there. He giving them credit. And it's an inconsistent, incomplete effort on defense. Why are we giving out credit on incomplete efforts? Calling the Pistons grown men, I guess we got we got teenagers here. Middle school people. But they damn sure don't make middle school teenage people money. They make grown men money around here. Let me tell you something, in the Pelican land.
Interesting, man. It's just I just have a question for the flock. I just have a question. What's up, or what up, cuz? Young Illuminati, Jake Carve, Jayden, Lavelle, everybody, man. Much love to y'all. Appreciate y'all, man, because Pelicans Nola was popping. Because I give credit to you guys. How about that? I'm not getting a damn lick of credit or anything to the Pelicans, man. I'm going to give the credit to the faithful that continue to watch these half games, these half a quarters, half-ass game or 3/4 of a game, not a full effort. I just think it's important. I just want the Pelicans. This is the question I have for y'all. I just want the Pelicans. Why don't the Pelicans stop switching? Can anybody answer that question for me? Why don't the Pelicans stop switching? I mean, could anybody tell me, why they can't? And then realistically, I think I have the answer, and I'll see if you guys agree with me. I think they don't have any other philosophy. I made a joke about it some years ago when Willie Green came in here. I said, what's the philosophy if the switch don't work? It's switch or die. Remember me saying that? Put one in the chat. But it's interesting, man, because this team, these half efforts or 3/4 efforts is not going to cut it. We have to do better. We have to do better. We need to stop switching. I'm tired of the bad switching. I'm tired. They do not know how to do the switch all. They do not do it well. And these people are practicing. What is James Borrego? Borrego's been the coach of the Pelicans for 33 games. It's been 33 games since Borrego took over the team back since November the 15th of 2025. He's 8-25 as the interim coach of the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, they have some positive stuff to talk about. His offensive rating was improvement. They went from back of the league, 27 to like 19th. The pace went up to top 5, but it doesn't translate into wins. So even if the offensive rating goes up and the pace goes up, the defense is not good. It's still not good. We're impacted on that side of the defense. We can't put together, consistent quarters defensively. When we need stops, we don't get the stops. And then, of course, in clutch moments of the game, we start breaking down, turning the ball over. And it's written into the DNA of the team. So when Coach Borrego calls the Detroit Pistons grown men, I asked the question, what do you have on your team, Coach Borrego? What do you have? So anyway, it's crazy. What up, cuz says switching leaves you at a disadvantage, especially if you don't have the players that can switch. Then they don't communicate. Like, how hard is it? When he says, when I hoop with my boys, we all communicate defense. I don't get that part of the game. I really don't. It's like trying to teach them quantum physics or advanced calculus. I don't know what's going on with it, why they can't seem to get the switching right. I just said give up on it. It's been 4 years of this philosophy, and it's not working. Stop doing the switching and play man-to-man. Guard your yard. Anybody with me? Guard your yard. Chase that man over the screen. You see what I'm saying? These people cannot switch. They can't do the switch all. We got to stop the switch all. That's number one thing, man. I just seen in this effort. But like I said, man, if they could have really kind of, surprised the Pistons. They could have did something positive again. Kind of, if they would have had some more stops and wouldn't have had that awful start, that 13-0, what was it, 13-0 start. Then they went on almost a 3-minute run where they didn't score any points toward the back end of the game. When they went on a scoring drought, then they started turning the ball over. Pistons started attacking them and converting their turnovers into points. So it's a number of things. And then Borrego mentions he got to love on them some more. I'm done with the loving on these players. You show them love and respect in how you pay them and giving them an opportunity to be a New Orleans Pelican. What are we talking about here? He talking about loving on the players and giving them credit. I just don't agree with that philosophy, man. I really don't. A lot of that Willie Green stuff, possibly a lot of that verbiage comes from Borrego. He sounds just like him in these losses. He's just a smarter version of him in terms of articulating what's going on in the game. But it's not working defensively. They're not a complete team. and it shows on their nightly effort. You know, you can't blame them being tired. Fam, they were off for a couple of days. They got to practice. This was the nomenclature that they talked about in previous broadcasts about, when we get an opportunity to get a break, we can get some practices in and institute some stuff. Guess what? They had a nice little couple of days to kind of round out that something what they do. And I expect them to beat the Pistons, but most certainly when you rested like that, you know, you can have a better effort. And at home, you will want to kind of bring it to them. And besides, listen, the Pistons were missing a possible MVP candidate in Cade Cunningham tonight. They did not have Cade Cunningham tonight. And, of course, we did miss Zion half the game because he was sick. He played in about 15 minutes, scored 4 points, and then he went on to the bench. He was sick. I mean, to the locker room. He tried to play. You know, he didn't want to hear the stuff about being sick and missing time. So he went out there and tried to play. So, you know, I guess if you want to give some love, you can give some love on that. But the rest of the team did not pick up the slack for him, and that's unfortunate. So anyway, fam, we're going to touch down on this. Let's get some, there's some of my reasons why we talked about the Zion being out. His point production was missed tonight because of his illness, but some love on him and respect on him because he tried. You know, that we had, you know, we got to give him that. You know, the poor shooting by the Pelicans tonight from downtown. Another dismal performance by the Pelicans from downtown. They were 7 of 32 from downtown for 22%. Their adversaries was 15 of 39 for 38%. So 15 made three-pointers versus 7 made three-pointers. Not good. Fast break game. Detroit dominated in that transition. They went up and down. The Pistons outscored the Pelicans tonight on the fast break 36-16. 20-point differential there. You know, rebounding. Pelicans were out rebounded in this game as well. Not by a large margin, but, you know, it was one of these situations where the Pistons, it just seemed like at times they wanted it a little bit more. You know, fighting for the extra, the second chance shots and all this kind of stuff underneath the cup, showing a lot more effort in some of these scrappy moments, especially in the second half of the game, to kind of take it away from the Pelicans. And it was a wire-to-wire thing with Detroit, but they did not falter. Despite having Cade Cunningham miss the game, the Pistons did not say, this is just the Pelicans. We can just kind of scoot along and not get no. They played like they usually play. They never trailed. Wire-to-wire finish. Starting off 13 points, and that put the stamp on the game for the Pelicans. Slow starts, ineptness, poor defensive breakdowns, poor shot selection at times. You pick it. You decide what it is. But anyway, the rest of the stats read, man. We talked about the rebounds, the assist game. Pelicans, 19 assists versus 26 by the Pistons. You know, that's not good. When you have that amount of low assists, we got to circulate the ball better. The steals were the Pelicans 13-12. 8-6 was blocks for the Pistons. We talked about the turnovers, 20 turnovers by the Pistons with 26 points given up versus the Pelicans 19. They turned the ball over 19 and gave up 32 points. They conceded 32 points off of turnovers. That's crazy work. To have a team, the Pistons, turn the Pelicans over for 32 points. And that's a one turnover differential, you know. that's a one is they turn the ball over. Pelicans 19, Pistons turned it over 20 times, but they gave up 26 versus the Pelicans 32. So they got a lot more out of it with one more turnover. Crazy work. And like I said, man, it's just more of the same from the Pelicans tonight. We need full efforts, man, regardless of who's available. The Pelicans have enough firepower where they can contend, especially if the team, the Pistons, a 30-plus win team, you know, is struggling without. Well, I ain't gonna say they're struggling because Cade Cunningham means a lot to him, but it was like you didn't need him tonight, right? So anyway, going to this side, Pelicans top man was Sadiq Bey. In 29 minutes, he had 20 points on 12 attempts from the field. He's 4 of 12, 1 of 5. Shooting was off by him, but he was perfect from the foul line. That's why he collected a lot of them. 11 for Sadiq Bey. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals for Sadiq. He led the way scoring-wise. Trey Murphy kind of fell down to earth, right? He was hot the last several games. Knew eventually he would kind of cool off a little bit. He was off in this one, 6 of 19 from the field, 2 of 9 from downtown. He was perfect from the charity stripe, finished with 17 points in 35 minutes. He also had an uncharacteristic 5 turnovers for Trey in this one. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, a block for him in this matchup. 12 for Jeremiah Fears in 20 minutes on 4 of 8 shooting. He was 0 for 2 from downtown, but perfect from the foul line. 4 rebounds and a couple of steals for Jeremiah Fears. Derek Queen struggled. I ain't gonna say struggle. He really didn't attempt to shoot the ball very much in the 23 minutes that he played. He scored 5 points, 4 rebounds, had 8 assists and 4 turnovers in the game. Not much offensive from him. You know, he's 1 or 2 from the foul line. Wish he kind of threw in some more points. We could have needed some more production from DQ, knowing that Zion was sick. You know, so anyway, Zion finished with 4 points in 15 minutes on 2 of 5 shooting. He was 0 for 3 from the foul line and 4 rebounds. Like I said, he was sick and left the game with the illness. Pelicans did dig into the bench, going, 6 men deep on the bench. The top minutes man was Jordan Poole, 28 minutes, 11 points. Cold as a cucumber, 4 of 17 from the field, 0 of 7 from downtown. Couldn't buy a basket. 3 or 4 from the foul line. He had 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals, and that just wasn't cutting it. I'm sorry, he actually had a couple assists in there. 2 assists, 2 steals, plus 4. But 4 of 17 from Poole, man, in 28 minutes, and they actually gave him starter minutes tonight. It just didn't translate. Just 11 points. Could have really used Jordan Poole, a 20-point effort from Poole tonight. That would have really helped out, right? Not putting it all on him, but he shot horribly in this game. 4 of 17, and not to mention why, man. The Pistons were physical with the Pelicans, and this is an old trope that we've been kind of watching teams follow with the Pelicans over time, right? Even Coach Borrego alluded to that in the presser. He talked about the physicality of the Pistons laying their hands, as he termed it, on the players and being physical with the players. Well, it did disrupt at least that much Jordan Poole, because they did kind of stick to him and Trey Murphy in this game and make it kind of physical for those guys. You know, every shot they had a hand in their face. They had to earn everything. Pistons were flying at them and making it really difficult. So it would have been nice for him to get have a better than 11 points, but it simply is what it is. Peavy in 27 minutes had 17 points, 7-11 from the field. He was 3 of 5 from downtown, 7 boards, 2 assists, 4 steals, 1 block. Peavy was excellent tonight. He gave him 17 points off the bench for the Pels, right? That was really good numbers by him. And then, of course, after that, not much other production. We've seen Bryce McGowan's getting there for 13 minutes, scored 5 points. Yves Messi had 26 minutes, 4 points, 6 boards, a couple of assists, and a couple of blocks for Yves. Carlo Mekovic, 14 minutes, 5 points, 2 rebounds in the game. And Kayvon Looney got an opportunity to get in there for 10 minutes, had 4 points and 7 rebounds for Kayvon in the matchup. Not enough for our Pels tonight, man. Like I said, it was a difficult matchup, and with Cade Cunningham out of there, you think the Pelicans might have a shot, but Pistons say no. And, of course, you look at the Pistons side of things. Their top guy was Jalen Durham, the center. 20 points, 15 boards, man. Just domination, plus 13 from Jalen Durham. Realize 15 from Duncan Robinson, the former Heat. He was 4 of 9 from downtown. He finished with 15 points, 4 boards, and 3 assists. And you've seen 17 from Dennis Jenkins, who was getting to the free throw line. He hit a couple of 3-pointers. He finished with 17 points in the absence of Cade Cunningham. 17 points, 4 assists. He did have had 5 turnovers, but it didn't impact him that bad. And I saw Thompson. We seen his brother the other day, not as potent, but he had 12 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals to help out in the effort. And Tobias Harris finished with 10 points, 6 boards. Not a really strong effort, but a good team effort by the Pistons, and more than enough to get a win at the Pelicans. We had a Javonte Green sighting for the Pistons. He had 14 minutes, 8 points, and 3 steals, a couple of rebounds for Javonte Green. See him there. So anyway, that's it. The Pelicans, this is the 3rd loss in a row for our Pelicans family. The Pelicans have lost now 3 games in a row, right? And the next matchup we'll see is the Memphis Grizzlies. And I just seen a report that indicated that Ja Morant family will be playing. Ja Morant will be playing in this game. So just to let y'all know that he will be available they always come back against the Pelicans. That's crazy. They always seem to make it back for the Pelicans, right? And just to let y'all know, man, the Pelicans are on a 6-game losing streak to the Memphis Grizzlies. I did not know that. Family, but they are on a 6-game losing streak to the Memphis Grizzlies. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was 6 games, but that's where we are right now. But anyway, we'll see what happened with Zion. This is on the 23rd. Coming up in a couple of days, we'll get an opportunity on a Friday, tip-off time in Memphis at 7 p.m. Central Time. That's my time. And, of course, we'll see Zion. Hopefully he'll be back. It's just an illness he has. He should make it back for the Friday matchup in Memphis to go at them. Herb Jones was close to coming back. He's listed as a game time decision before they literally just pulled in and said, nah, we're going to keep you out. And according to the injury report, both Herb Jones and Jose Alvarado are supposed to be cleared for the Pelicans and Grizzlies matchup. We'll see what the indication is. Like as we get closer to it by Thursday and even into Friday, we'll see what the indication is, because Herb was listed as a game time decision before they ultimately looked at him and decided to hold him out. And Jose is supposed to come back, so that's a couple of them. So we know that Ja Morant will be playing in this matchup. Eldama is he was out of need. He's supposed to come back. Ty Jerome's supposed to make it back from his calf issue as well. Scottie Pippen Jr. is not due to return until February the 20th, which is actually the same timeline for DeJounte Murray to make it back for his Achilles tendon. So we'll take a look at it. Zach Edey is out until March the 4th. So is Brandon Clark. It's February the 20th, along with Scottie Pippen Jr., just to let you know, right? Pelicans, like I said, are 1-4 the last 5. They're on a 3-game losing streak. The Grizzlies are up and down. It's lose 1, win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1. They lost to the Atlanta Falcons tonight by 2. It was a competitive game, but they lose. They lost at home against the Atlanta Hawks. They are 2-3 over the last 5 games, and they'll have Jaren Jackson Jr. available for this matchup. They'll have Ja Morant for this matchup as well. And like I said, Memphis has a 2-0 lead on the regular season series this year's season. 2 leading the Pelicans. I think it's still 2 games. Yeah, 2 games. This will be the 3rd game coming up on Friday, and the final game will be on the 30th of this month. So we'll be done with the series with them. They're leading the season right now 2-0, and they're on a 6-game winning streak over our Pelican squad. So that's something to talk about as well. And of course, you look at the stats in front of you, family. This Memphis team is 18-24. Like I said, I don't want to sit here and say what the Pelicans should do against the Grizzlies, because we always know how that ends up. It always end up the way we want it to end up. But Ja Morant, when healthy, 19 games he's played in the season. He's averaged 19 points and 8 assists per game. I don't know how much he plays in the matchup, but they're saying he's supposed to come back. Jaren Jackson Jr. is averaging 19 points, 5.5 boards, 2 assists for him. Santi Aldama is averaging 14 points and 7 boards with 3 assists. Cedric Coward averaging 14 points, 6.5 boards, and 3 assists as well. And like I said, Edey is out. They also probably see Cam Spencer in there. He's averaging 12 and 3. What is his assists? 2 assists per contest, I want to say. No, 5.5 for Cam Spencer. So it's a few things going on with this team. And the Pelicans, man, it'll be interesting to see how they handle it. But anyway, on screen, man, you can see the season statistics right here. The Grizzlies not so really doing a lot of great things, but some of the stuff that they're doing better than the Pelicans. 115 is what they're averaging, 20th in the NBA, and giving up 116 flat, which is 16 in the league. You can see the field goal percentage shooting about 45.5%, which is 26 in the NBA. The Pelicans ranked 19th with that situation. The three-pointers made, they make about 3.3, which is middle of the pack. Pelicans less than 11 a game, 10.8. The the free throw attempts right here for the Pelicans, they try them. The percentages are they're 17th in the NBA. The Grizzlies are 10th. So they got a couple of things going on right there. They're top 12 in terms of three-point attempts. They shoot about 38 a game. The Pelicans are back at 28 ranked in the game. The rebound, they're top 4 in the NBA, 46.3. The Pelicans are 43.3 for 19th. The assists, they circulate the ball extremely well. They average 29 assists per game. That's top 5 in the NBA. Pelicans averaging 24.8, which is 25th. You can see the turnovers. Pelicans are are actually middle of the pack. Grizzlies 23rd. The steals, Grizzlies are ranked 22nd with 8. The Pelicans are 8.8 at 8. And the blocks per game is a top 12 team. They have 5, Pelicans 4.4 there. Like I said, they've lost to the Grizzlies 6 times in a row. Going to be interesting to see how that works, fam. And like I said, man, keys for victory for this matchup for the Pelicans, man. You know, we're going to see how it goes because they got a lot of talented players on this team with Ja coming back, Cedric Colbert, Jalen Wells. We always have issues with these guys. Like I said, we have difficulty with them. I remember one of the times we played this team, they were missing a lot of their talent to start off the season, and they still were able to get a win on the Pelicans. So Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is there. Vince Williams Jr. is there. Cam Spencer helps as well. We'll see Ty Jerome where he is when it gets close to it. Gigi Jackson, Jock Londale to go along with the rest of the starters that we've seen, and they play well, man. It's just right now 18 and 24. They're looking to kind of trade Ja Morant. We'll see what the rumors are. Where there's smoke, there's fire on him. I think they're really trying to get him out of there. We just don't know where he's going to go. We just have to wait to February the 5th or maybe before to see how that ends. But inside of the 10 keys to victory for the Pelicans to take care of business against the Grizzlies, the health of key players need to be front street, right? Zion Williamson, Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado, if they're available, man, that's a big boost for the Pelicans heading into Memphis, right? Zion was kind of like you said, he was dealing with the illness. He should be good. Hopefully he'll be all right for Friday. Herb came close. Hopefully he's good to go against Memphis, and hopefully we can get an Jose Alvarado listing that will add him. So even if it's not all of them, maybe if it's Zion and Herb, that is a big help, right? Having a healthy Zion and a healthy Herb contributing would be good. But if we can get all 3 of them back, that would be just awesome to help us out in terms of our depth, our defense, and scoring. Another key is we got to contain Jaren Jackson Jr., right? 29 points in the previous Grizzly win over the Pelicans. So the focus will be needed to kind of keep his impact, or limit his impact, rather, to the game. He can pass, he can shoot, he can rebound. Jaren Jackson is a force down there, and we have to do all we can to limit what he does. We got to win the rebound battle, and that's tied to him with Memphis. You can see what they're ranking there in terms of their rebounding. We got to do a better job of boxing out and getting and securing boards and limiting them second chance points. We got to limit that big time. Kevon Looney's really good at boxing out and getting offensive rebounds. We've seen Eves at time get the offensive boards, but we really need to have more of a focus down there of kind of blocking out, boxing out, and limiting them second chance shots, because that happened in this game against the Pistons, where they were just getting extra rebounds and tips and all this kind of stuff around the basket, and just having more of an effort than the Pelicans and getting a win. Strong third quarter performance, and I would even extend that into a strong second half performance to close out. You know, the outscoring of us in these quarters is ridiculous, and that's something that we have to reverse. If we have to start strong, and then it has to persist until the second half of the game. You know, even if the Pelicans get off, and they've been having slow starts, that's what hurt them tonight, in part. But we have to do a better job of starting fast and finishing strong. That should be the motto for Borrego going into this game against the Memphis Grizzlies. Let's start fast and finish strong. That's what we need to do. That's the main thing right there. We got to take care of the ball. We can't turn the ball off. I call it disrespecting the ball. We can't turn it over and throw it to invisible players and and just, and when you up under the basket eaves, just go ahead and try to dunk it and finish over the top of the guy, rise up over him, dunk on him, do what you got to do. And same to most of the players, trying to kick the ball back out and throwing it into the ops' hands and all this kind of stuff. We got to finish around the basket and make stuff happen there. The perimeter shooting is also something we have to watch out for. When you practice the fail philosophy of the switch all the Pelicans are trying to run, you see guys, 3-point shooters that'll have an opportunity to knock your lights out. And it happened on most nights because the Pelicans always some kind of way when they do the switch all, they unbalance the floor. They'll unbalance the floor. Guys are not communicating. Guys are covering running over either too late, and they're not communicating here. If you're going to switch, you got to tell the other guy or know where to be and know how other guys need to be to cycle to cover guys out there, or you're just setting yourself up for failure. I just say stop doing it. Also, they got to sustain scoring from Trey Murphy. We need Trey to kind of get around and keep getting back into that hot. I think tonight he had 17 because of the physicality of Detroit. It was all up in his face. But he been averaging over 29 points this month. And we can capitalize off that. We just got to fortify him with defense and complete game performances with Trey, because Trey's giving you the points. And Zion, before the illness, was also adding it too. We need to get the stops when we need to, and we need to score. We need to circulate the ball and not let the game die. And you see that from time to time. They get stagnant out there, and that just really just burns me up, man. Circulate the ball. The Grizzlies' intensity, they're going to come with the intensity. They come with that high pressure. They're going to be at home. So we got to make sure we got to match that physicality, for them 50-50 possessions. We got to handle that. And executing the clutch, the past games, that's something that we didn't do. You seen the breakdowns, them going into scoring droughts, turning the ball over, not communicating on switches. We got to execute in the clutch moments. The Pelicans are not a clutch team, and in order to have the clutch gene, they got to learn how to perform in the heated moments of the game, and that's something that we simply are not getting enough of from the Pelicans. And then the last key is capitalize on, the kind of the confusion, right? With the Grizzlies dealing with the fact that they trying to trade Ja Morant. So there's confusion going right there. Some kind of way we got to exploit the distraction and all of that is going around with the Pistons with their top player, or their star-studded player in trade talks. Some kind of way we can manipulate that for our benefit, right? They have some level of distraction that they have with all that going on, and we can be able to capitalize off that in some kind of way, right? We got to use every advantage that we possibly can as a team to get wins, man. When you sitting up here like the Pelicans, you sitting up here as a, what are we now? 10-36 team, 7-19. And like I said, man, Borrego his record is 8-25 through 33 games. 8-25. 8-25 and 8-25. So anyway, shout out to you guys, man, for this one here. Big ups to you. Appreciate you. Slim says 10-37 loading. I don't know what the call is on this one, fam. I really don't know, right? If Jose, Herb, and Zion plays, I think the Pelicans can win this game. I think they can win this game. But if Herb misses again and Jose misses again, I don't see it. But with those guys and with Herb gives them a shot, right? And I did a report, and one of the family members wasn't happy about the report. They said they didn't believe. Said, Q, I don't believe the report about Herb Jones having interest in the Lakers. I said, bro, listen, man. People, these are humans out here, man. They're human. These people are human. Some of these people might be looking for greener pastures. They might see something in the building that we don't see. You see what I'm saying? Some guys could be tired of losing. Some guys could be tired of being hurt. Some guys could be in their feelings about something. They could feel the health staff. I know DeJounte Murray doesn't trust the Pelicans health staff. He out training by himself. He didn't give him the best accolades. Who's to say what really is going on in the mind of a Herb Jones? You see what I'm saying? Either way, the message is not coming from me. It's coming from the insiders. You know, just like they talked about the rumors around Zion Williamson. They got people who's actually pretty credible that's talking about the Pelicans had discussions with the Bulls about trading Zion. Is that true? If Joe Dumars says that Zion is not up for trade and he's considered the untouchables, and he mentioned the untouchables, I have to go over it again. But Zion is mentioned amongst those untouchable players, right? Okay, Jaden says he's 8-26 now. Okay, I got you. Thank you, bro. All right, thank you. All right, that actually the old would sound better, Jaden. 8-26 now. Okay. All right, but the bottom line is this: there's an asking price, you know, that it's crazy because let me throw this at y'all. We know the asking price that Joe Dumars threw out for Trey Murphy. He threw out a ridiculous, almost, I ain't gonna say it's a Desmond Bain package, but he wants picks, unprotected picks and players as well for Trey Murphy. And of course he did that because he's not serious about trading Trey Murphy. It's just something to stop them from calling that they're not gonna do, right? He did the similar thing. He drew out a package that's verified for what we want for Herb Jones. A lot of teams, it kind of stopped them from calling about the Herb Jones thing, right, to a degree. Because they actually got some teams that might be trying to put that together. The Lakers, you know, they ain't got much going on with picks, but, you know, they have to get other teams involved, and that could be complicated. But he said it. What was said about Zion Williamson? You got Herb. You know what Herb package is. You know what Trey Murphy the third package is. What is the package for Zion Williamson if those guys picks are? What was the picks, the trade package for them? Do anybody know? Yeah, he says, okay. Young Illuminati says he wants 7 picks for Z. 7 picks. 7 picks. 7 picks. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we'll see how it all goes, man. But this is an article right here that talks about an update with trade talks. Of course, they threw Eves Messi in it because there are several teams currently that are interested in it. We heard about the Pistons, the Bulls, and there are other teams that's interested in Eves. There's not much going on with Jose Alvarado right now because he's hurt. But once he makes it back and become healthy, you can see some of that's going to ratchet up too as we get close to February the 5th. I don't expect the Pelicans to have a boatload of trades and stuff going on before the deadline. But I think Jose is on the last year of his contract. So if any player is likely to be sent out, it might be her. I mean, it might be him, right? Unless the Pelicans elect to re-sign Jose. We'll see. All right. Yes, he said, yeah. Kilomita says 4 firsts and 3 seconds. But this is the trade. Y'all, and like I said, man, don't shoot the messenger, man. I'm just telling y'all what some of this stuff is because some of these guys are actually reputable, some of these insiders, you know. As the result, the talks appear to be intensifying between the Bulls and the Pelicans about the future of Zion Williamson. Y'all take this all into thought. Like I said, anything can happen in the NBA. This week, it was reported that talks be involving both Williamson and center Eves Messi, per Crowley of Chicago Sun-Times. The Bulls executive Arturas Karnasozovic, I hope I said that right, probably not, is actively involved. However, there's a greater chance that Chicago would get Eves Messi instead of Williamson. Nevertheless, the Pelicans are less likely to trade Messi, especially since the Bulls are reluctant to make any drastic changes. Yes, Eves has lost minutes from his rookie season, going from almost 27 minutes per game last season to 8.6 now, but he's still a solid rim runner with potential to be an elite rim protector. That's what Crowley wrote. In other words, the Pelicans are willing to trade him, but they're not going to give him away. So getting a deal done would be tricky, especially because the Bulls aren't looking to give away draft assets in a trade. Given Williamson's vulnerability to injuries, the possibility of his coming to Chicago is likely scarce. Essentially, the Pelicans are trying to make up for letting go of an unprotected first-round pick to the Atlanta Hawks. Not what they're doing at all. Not at all, because they've done a good job. The Pelicans got value in DQ. According to Brett Siegel of Clutch Points, Williams would be the essential buy low player for the Bulls per clutch scoops. This type of player whose value is currently low due to underperformance and or injury, but whose value could increase over time as performance improves in a new setting. That is especially the case given that many Bull players are playing out their contracts. I heard that there's been some smoke there about Chicago scouting New Orleans in recent weeks, and Zion would be the ideal buy low candidate for a team like the Bulls, who have a lot of expiring contracts, according to Siegel. Kobe White, Desamu, you see Nikolai is there, Patrick Williams, Jalen Smith have expiring contracts at season end, and therefore they will become unrestricted free agents. Williamson is currently averaging 22.5 and 6 rebounds a contest. So there you go right there. These are some of the guys, Kobe White and Desamu, Pat Williams, and others. And this is some of the stuff that they talk about. So like I said, as trades start to ramp up, you'll start hearing more and more stuff like this. And eventually, we'll see what happens. But Eves, Hawkins, DeJounte Murray, Jordan Poole, all of those guys, Karlo Mekovic, all those guys, even Peavy, I guess, too, as well, but are not considered untouchable. We know who those touchable players are, and we'll continue to maintain and watch and see what happens moving forward with the Pelicans. But anyway, fam, listen, man, I appreciate y'all for chiming on this episode of PPR. Y'all do me a service. Yeah, that's right. Everybody's scouting the Pels. Yeah. When you're a team that is a 10-36 team, that is 7-19 in your own building, yes, everybody's going to be looking at your team and see what they can pilfer from you, because they see you as not going anywhere as opposed to building. The Pelicans was really just, I'm trying to search for the word, was really just disappointing. There you go. That's the perfect word. Was really disappointing about the Pelicans is the fact that through all of these games that we had Borrego, that has been more than enough time to institute some sort of total identity for the team. But he's figured out some things offensively, but you can see that the defense is really becoming an issue, because I'm tired of hearing Antonio Daniels on broadcast telling them you don't switch that. And you know what I call it? I call it dumb switching, unintelligent switching. And he tells them you have to be able to guard your yard or stay with your man. And it's just do man to man. Or if you play zone, and then switch to man to man, no more switch all. Because I don't think they have the personnel for it. I don't think they're I ain't gonna say they're not intelligent, but I think it's just not catching with them. You got to find another way to play defense. And you got to get them to challenge them to play defense and stand in front of their defenders. And that's just how you got to be. The switch all is it's just a bad idea. We've done this for years, and they have not done it enough successfully for it to have an impact. Too many times in the game, we see the game kind of leak away because of bad defensive principles, them overloading one side of the floor, leaving shooters wide open, and you see them running over there with a hand up, and the guy already got the shot off. These are professional basketball players. You get them a wide open shot, a good percentage of the time, they're going to knock that down. So, and they keep doing the same thing. And I just don't like the message that's coming from Borrego. He's giving these guys, talking about you got to love on them. He called the Pistons grown men, but what your players are? Your Pistons, those grown men's over there. Yeah, they're grown men over there, which means that you don't have grown men. You don't have grown men, because if the Pistons are a grown man team, and the Pelicans are falling down to him, guess what? But he mentioned we just got to keep loving on them. No, enough of the love, bro. Stop the love talk. It ain't time for no love talk. You have to be able to be firm with them and teach defensive principles. You got some power as an interim head coach. You need to resituate another defensive guy to teach them defense. You need to stop the switch all. You need to teach them to guard their yard like AD said. Play man to man, chase them guys over screens, and you can switch between man and zone. Just stop the switch all, bro. It is not working, and it's a bad look. and they can't figure it out. Just stop doing it. Tired of that, man. Anyway, that's all I got, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, Slim says make Antonio Daniels. Yeah, he always says, because, bro, it's not like, you know, you got a degree in basketball. I mean, we don't have to have a master's in basketball to see, you know, that they have communication issues. You follow the game. You've seen enough of the basketball. You can understand what they're doing wrong for real, because you see other teams doing right. You say, why can't the Pelicans do that? You know, why can't they guard the yard? Why can't they play man to man? Why can't they figure out, okay, to communicate on defense? Why is it only Herb Jones that's, you know, when he gets out there has an impact in terms of telling them where they need to be? Why can't we have other guys like damn near the entire team that knows the defense like Herb does, even though they might not have his skill, but they do know what they're supposed to do and where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. If I'm going to switch this guy, I got to communicate to this guy right here and let him know I'm about to do this so he can got that guy over there. Or not to switch into matchups like Jose Alvarado consistently and thoroughly does when he switches and then picks up their big, and the big, you know, basically backs him down, and then he has to hack the big under the basket when he's not even supposed to switch with the guy. I mean, they just be out there not thinking, and guy run up to him, the ops run up to him, and just y'all seen it, push their man, just push him over into the area of the court that he wants them to be. Yeah, let's just go just push up to him. He don't throw the man out the way and say, no, you stay over there. You know what I'm saying? They don't do none of that. They just go wherever the ops say to go and wonder why they losing on the defensive side. Man, this requires some intelligence over here. You can't go with the ops. The ops want you to go over there because they're trying to set you up. Come on, bro. You can't go for the okie doke, man. If the ops is pushing you over here, that's because they're trying to set you up. You got to think about that, man. We be seeing guys just out there bucking their eyes, just doing whatever the defense say to do, and wondering why they be losing these defensive matchups and allowing these people to get to the rim easily. It's just crazy. All wide open shots. We see it repetitively over and over again. We hear the coach talk about it over and over again, but there is no motion. There is no movement. There is no progress. There is no evolution on that side of it. It's just a stale thing that continues to hunt the Pelicans over and over again and frustrate us as supporters of the team over and over again. So the struggle continues, right? We need to put some shirts together, something with the Pelicans called The Struggle Continues, because that's what the hell we watching going forward. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Y'all do me a service. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the follow button and the share button, man. PPR in here representing the Flocking Nation. The Pelicans fall tonight 112-104 to the Pistons. They're now 10-36, 7-19 at home. Next matchup is on Friday in Memphis. Can the Pelicans get the victory against the Memphis Grizzlies, who has beaten them 6 times in a row? Time will tell. So y'all put y'all thoughts in the comments section. I'm going to holler at y'all on the next one. Much love. Peace. Go Pelicans.
You're listening to the Pelicans Post Game Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Perfect. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that. Birds of a feather, fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican forever. Ain't gon' lie, I feel flyer than I ever been. We stay ballin', this New Orleans, I'm a Pelican. It's going down in the nest, wild, wild west. Come in town and do best, show us some respect. 3-point threat, I better make it rain. If it's up, then don't jump stupid like your ankle sprain. Always said, never hate the player, hate the game. Jumper where the dame late, punch a train. Post game, big Q, talking about business. Bird gang, YouTube, they ain't flocking with us. Lock up the division mission, get into the finals. Finish competition, then it's going win the title. I know this flyer than you can get. Such a threat that the refs just might call a tag. You could double, you could press, but you can't check. Right, left, slide by you like a Eurostep. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican forever. And never, and never, and never, and never, and never, and never. Say birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, fly down, I'm a Pelican forever.
Hey, New Orleans! Whether you're catching up on Saints news at Jackson Square, checking Pelicans scores in the Garden District, or staying updated on LSU while grabbing coffee in the French Quarter, there's one place that keeps you connected to everything that matters in our city. From Bourbon Street to the Superdome, from Preservation Hall to the riverfront, New Orleanians are staying in the know with thewhodatdaily.com. Your daily source for Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and all the sports, music, and culture that makes our city special. At work downtown, at a game in the Dome, or just relaxing by the Mississippi, wherever life takes you in the Big Easy, you can stay connected. Because when you're from New Orleans, you don't just live here. You stay in the NO. That's stay in the know. Visit thewhodatdaily.com and never miss what matters most to Who Dat Nation.
Welcome to the Pro Shop, where we create authentic NOLA-inspired clothing for men, women, and children. From Saints jerseys to Pelicans gear, everything's crafted right here in New Orleans. Whether you're shopping the Pro Shop, the Pel Shop, or the Pro Shop Kids, we've got your whole family covered with genuine merchandise that represents our city's spirit. Check for links in the description section below or in the chat.